Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we are going to have a little chat about the Skorpekh Destroyer, because we know now what they do. Well, we already knew what they do. We know that they charge in and beat the livingness out of pretty much anything, really, and we have a weapon profile for them. Now, this makes me excited, but also puzzled. See, this by itself would not ordinarily be enough for like a video by itself, but I'm a bit puzzled about something. So we're going to take a look at this first. So obviously the Skorpekh Destroyer is the big three-legged animal with the giant blade that is about the same size as itself. Nice and restrained, obviously, and it's obvious what it does because it's carrying a massive blade the size of itself. It murders things in close combat. Skit is in close with its nice three-leg setup, and as they say, first up, with a name like Skorpekh Destroyer, it clearly hails from the Destroyer cult, meaning it has, let's just say, anger management issues. Yes. However, unlike the more familiar Destroyers and Heavy Destroyers, which favour annihilating their prey from afar, Skorpekh Destroyers like to reap them up close and personal with murderous sweeps of their enormous blades. That is the thing that I wanted to have a bit of an extra chat about. As they said, unlike the more familiar Destroyers and Heavy Destroyers. So, we'll take a look at the weapon they carry. First of all, I do like the fact that there are variations of the Destroyer cult in terms of the approaches they take. I do, obviously, the Destroyers are one of my favourite Necron units. I really like the Destroyers. They look cool, I like the background for them, and yeah, overall it's a unit I really, really like. I had a good number of them for my old 3rd Ed Necron force. The fact that there is like another type of destroyer that favours destroying stuff up close and has modified itself to excel at that in the form of having 3 legs rather than a floating sort of hover platform to go about on. I actually really like that. That's a cool expansion on that. It's it's tailoring themselves for their chosen task. The ones with the guns obviously like to shoot from afar, and being a bit more mobile is very helpful for that. These guys, they want to get up close and personal, and being however many feet off the ground is not necessarily conducive to hacking someone apart at the legs. So they've gone for the leg option. I like that. That's a cool expansion on that. And the weapons are, dear lord. So it is a hyperphase reap blade. Look, we can't complain about the name of stuff in every video, alright? It'll get old real quick if we do. Hyperphase something blade I would have been absolutely fine with. I don't know why, but hyperphase reap blade sounds like the most, I don't know, like 13-year-old edgy. I don't know. I really don't like the name at all. Hyperphase blade is fine. It's just the addition of the word reap. It's weird. I don't know why I don't like it. Anyway, the important thing is not the name, it's what it does. Obviously, it's a melee weapon with strength +2, AP-4, and damage 3. Now, obviously, we need to wait and see how many attacks these guys get. That's quite nasty. That's pretty nasty. I do not want anything I have getting hit by that, really. That's a horrendous weapon. Obviously, it does make sense. Let's be honest. Look at the size of it. Look at the size of the guy, and look at the size of the blade that the guy is holding. Plus, something that I hadn't really picked up on from the trailer, you'll note, from what I can see, no hands. No hands on these guys. Just the sword. just the sword. No hands required. They're only there for one thing, and that is to chop you into small pieces. And so they're perfectly kitted out for that. Even the normal destroyers have at least got one hand. He can't even pick anything up. He literally, that's all he's there for. I love it. It's great. So yeah, hyperphase reap blade, strength +2 AP, -4 damage 3. Dear lord. And as they say, no wonder we saw one cutting down a space marine in the trailer. Yes. One hit could chop An adept custodian. Oh dear. So yeah, I do like it. I do like it, and of course there are variations of it. I will say of the different versions here, the guy on the right with the because there's the one in the center, which I'm assuming is the main I'm assuming they've got like different variations of it from what they've said. I mean, yeah, what's that? Some different weapons. So the middle one is obviously got the hyperphase reblade thing that is in the article by the look of things. Then we've got one on one side that seems to have the same thing but a bit smaller attached to each arm. And then another one with like a longer blade that's got like a blade at each end, but is it even each end because the whole thing is a blade? I have to admit, I really like the look of the guy that's got the blades that extend past the elbow. I quite like that. I don't know, it feels... There's something a bit Illidan about that, to be honest. I really like that. I want to know what those do, like what the variants are. I'm assuming that some will have, I don't know, like an ability to maybe get an extra attack in exchange for less AP or less damage or something like that. You know, if the big, heavy, chunky one does that, then yeah, it's going to be interesting to find out what they do. The thing that's now puzzling me, though, here's the thing that's puzzling me. So, we know that these guys are Skorpekh Destroyers. Now, my assumption was that when these guys were shown off, I got some information sort of at the time saying they are destroyers. That is one of the reasons I kept saying destroyers when I was referring to these in previous videos, because that's what I was told these were. Before we had a name, before they were properly given their designation, or at least we were told what their name was, I was told that these are destroyers. Now, of course, that is true. That's turned out to be correct. They are Skorpekh Destroyers. The thing that puzzled me was I assumed this would be like a multi-part kit, so I was like, okay, well, they've taken the hover platform away, which, you know, we can see here, and they've given them legs instead. All right, okay, I can get behind that. I like the hover platform a lot, but I suppose I can deal with it. That's now looking like it's not the case, because we've got these guys. They're a variant of the destroyer. They've got the legs, they've got the blades. You know, they perform a different function to these lads here. We also saw a picture of what looked like a heavy destroyer, based on a Jez Goodwin sketch, actually, which I'm really happy that has actually turned out to be a thing. Which, yeah, I'll stick him up on the screen as well so you can see him. But I'm assuming that the heavy destroyer is being replaced by the one that we saw in that big overall Necron image. I'm curious as to what they're going to do about just the normal ones, because the normal ones, they're going to look weird if they don't replace them. And I'm assuming they will, because I'm sure a big part of this is getting rid of those green rods. We've got new warriors, we've got a new monolith, we've got a new heavy destroyer. I kept waiting to see like a little squadron of these lads, but an updated version. We didn't see that. And I'm now starting to wonder whether or not these are even going to be replaced. And if they are replaced, whether it's going to be a case of the destroyer... Like, you can either have a heavy destroyer or just a destroyer, and they're not going to come in a pack of 3, maybe? It's a bit confusing, because these guys obviously look totally different. That is so definitely getting replaced by the other one. But it leaves these 3 in a weird limbo area where, I mean, I'm not sure what's going to happen with them. But I do feel like they need to be replaced. I feel like, especially next to that new heavy destroyer, especially next to the new Necron warriors, alongside these Skorpekh Destroyers, these just are not going to fit in very well now. And they've got the green rods, which the Games Workshop seem really keen on getting rid of those, because, you know, no warriors have got them with the new stuff. The monolith hasn't got them anymore. All you're left with are these, and it really looks like the heavy destroyer is totally getting replaced. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with them, because I just haven't seen anything that looks like replacements for those, aside from that one massive chunky guy. And it makes me worry just that little bit that it is a case of, well, you can get this kit that is either a destroyer or a heavy destroyer. I don't know whether that I would particularly like that, especially if these came in like boxes of 3, which I feel like it's reasonable to expect them to do that. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. It's just one of those things that's puzzling me a little bit, because we've got this new variant, we've got, you know, the other one that we saw, but then there's just the normal destroyers are just, we don't know what's happening to them, and I would like to know. I really would like to know. Partially so that I know whether to buy some now or whether to wait, to be honest, to go along with the burgeoning Necron force that I've ended up with out of sheer excitement and very little else. So yeah, these do look cool. They do look good. I do like the fact there's a variant of them. I do like that a lot. Kind of adds that extra bit of personality again, and it makes, for me anyway, I think it makes sense. I leave that up to you know, personal discretion as to whether you think it does. Obviously, just as a subjective thing for sure, but yeah, I like that kind of expansion on the Destroyer lore, so to speak. Anyway, let me know what you think of these guys in the comments down below. How terrifying is the Hyperphase Reap Blade? Like, on a scale of 1 to please don't let that near any of the models I actually care about. What do you reckon? 1 to 10. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Feel free to click all the things. Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like. Don't click it if you don't want to. And if you would like to support the channel, you could do so using the affiliate link in the description down below. It is entirely up to you. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.